Hey, what is going on, crypto people? Happy Wednesday. Happy Generational Wealth Wednesday, by the way. Oh, wow. I forgot about that. Very, very cool. A lot of interesting stuff going on right now in the world of digital assets, or I should say in the digital asset space. I hope you're excited. I hope you're excited about it because you and I are playing a game that 99.99% of the masses, well, they don't even know that it's being played, and we are winning. I was just going over some stuff about one of the OG smart contract platforms or blockchains in Phantom. Interesting. And they got the Sonic thing coming on, which is very, very fascinating, very, very fast. And it looks very, very, very appealing. I'll share more of that with you guys probably in another video, but I did want to share this. Look, the XRP Ledger automated market amendment has reached 85.7% consensus. Now it's a 14-day waiting period. So the votes are in. The AMM is coming. She's got to hopefully get this 14 days of staying at at this threshold and above, which is be really, really cool. Crypto Eddie says, I think it was Expectar and then finally Daniel that flipped the switch. Need to hold this vote for 13 days, 23 hours, right? So it's about 14 days that it has to stay in that vote range, 28 above. So I did read XRPL Labs will wait about another week. Should they find something, votes could change. So right now we're on the 14-day waiting period, and I think it's like 30. Yeah, 30 yays, 5 nays. So very, very cool to see that coming for sure. So excited about that. Very, very curious as to why so many of the validators or UNLs, whoever they are skeptical about the AMM. It's really, 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 it's just really interesting to me to witness the skepticism. And I don't think that we should summarily dismiss what it is that they're saying. Now we can look into it and see if there's any validity. We can look into it and see if it's not spurned on by some other issues that they may have. But I think it warrants looking into it. My Robert Swatter says my XRPL validator has been updated, and I will wait. Okay, that was January 30th to vote yay for any issues. So I remember I mentioned that in a couple of videos. There were 2 or 3 people saying that said the same thing. They updated to the Ripple version 2.0.1, and then they were going to wait 7 days. But we do have the votes, and we'll see how it goes from there. More votes for yay. Gives us that buffer for those who may or may not change their mind. But again, I don't think we can summarily dismiss these validators and why they're saying no. Like look into it, right? Look into why it is that they're saying it is what they're saying. That's what I'm saying. Just merely look into it, listen, ask some questions and find out. I know one guy called On Ledger he is essentially saying that this is being used. XRP holders are being used. That's what he's roundabout saying it instead of saying it as the exit liquidity for Ripple's product ODL. So, and I'm trying to think why he kind of thinks that way. Because he keeps saying, yeah, the AMM is for Ripple's customers. It's for their ODL customers. That's what he keeps saying, right? And is he saying that is a negative thing? To me, it sounds like that's what he's saying, that he says it's a negative thing. I've done a couple of videos now, and I said, why do you think they moved to the XRPL? And because that's where the liquidity is. So my thing is where is the harm in having ODL customers on the XRPL? I mean, I would love to be able to ask some of these validators, or what's the harm in that? Because saying that there's market risk in providing liquidity, that's not an answer. Like there's market risk in providing liquidity. It's not an answer. There's market risk in holding any asset. You don't provide liquidity, you're still subject to market risk. Like, I don't know why you think that you're not. You're still subject to market risk if you don't provide liquidity. Right? I'm going to share some Chris Larsen stuff here, some news with Chris Larsen and his wallets. His wallets was subject to what? Market risk. It's no different. with the SEC suing the company and the holders, that subjected all of us to market risk. I mean, think about that downturn from that. So my thing is always going to be this market risk, and providing liquidity, at least there's a shot for earning fees to maybe compensate and or make up for any kind of market risk. There's still going to be risk, right? And if you think that your XRP, no, I'll share this a little bit later. It's not at risk. I'm going to share you something from Chris Larsen. This is, look, with this stuff going on with Chris, this is what happened to Chris Larsen is, look, it's not great. Here's one thing here. Chris Larsen posted this. Yesterday, there was an unauthorized access to a few of my personal XRP accounts, not Ripple, my personal XRP accounts, says Chris Larsen. We were quickly able to catch the problem and notify the exchanges to freeze the affected addresses. Law enforcement is already involved. So was Chris Larsen's XRP subject to market risk? And here's the thing that I will say. If they got the Chris Larsen's XRP, what makes you think they can't get to yours? Like, so, and my understanding is, I thought that Chris Larsen was using either Coinbase's custody. Like he came out and he backed a particular custodian, and I can't remember the name. Maybe you guys can remember. And said he was using them to custody his personal crypto and XRP, I believe. So the whole idea is, my whole idea for saying this is, if you're not participating in providing liquidity because of market risk, you don't understand what market risk is. Right? So it's interesting that he just said, I read some other stuff about this hack essentially, and he said it was like a massive attack. A massive attack. I'm trying to see if I can find any other things that I shared, that I saved rather, in reference to this. But yeah, Chris Larsen's personal wallets, he said a few of them, right? So we're talking 3, 4, 5, who knows? A few of them have been breached. Now, that's a little alarming. Let me see if I can find some other stuff here. And this is Zach person here, the Zach's XBT, rug pull survivor turned 2D detective. Anyway, this says 213 million XRP, around 112 million. So it was not Ripple. It was personal. It was the personal wallet for Chris. And this is an interesting point here. And we'll see. Anyway, Money GC says, hey, Chris, you guys own Medico. Seems kind of stupid for the chairman of Ripple and all the other board members to not have those large amounts in custody with them, don't you think? So anyway, who knows? I mean, by the way, I mean, the dude has billions, right? He's got 5 to 6 billion XRP. So this is 213 million. So who knows where he had that XRP? I don't know. But that 213 million, of 5 to 6 billion, they used to have 5 to 6 billion. I don't know how much of that XRP they used for other stuff, but like to fight the case. $2 million for a Porsche. $2 million. So that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot, Porsche. Anything for the XRP holders or don't you care, right? And so, yeah. What we got here? Here's something I want to share that. So I shared AMM's pass. It's awesome. Cool. It's we got the 14-day period before it can be actually be implemented. That is awesome. And I think that is great. This thing with Chris is it's, you know, his personal responsibility to keep safeguard his stuff as best you can. You know, we say on our channel all the time, don't mess around. The bad guys are smarter than us, right? They just are. They're smarter than us. So it'll be curious to see how this happened. Like, where did he have these personal wallets? It feels like to me, these were just wallets on some exchanges. So I don't know, who knows the measure of security he had or did not have. But I do want to cover something from Meta Lawman that I think is hugely, hugely important, because it will help to help us to understand, you know, the fight that's really going on, really taking place for us. This is in relation to Custodia Bank, who is owned and chairman is Caitlin Long, and it speaks to the bigger picture in the United States government and them attacking you and us. This is what, hold on a second. Okay, go ahead. So I don't know if I stopped the share or stopped the video, but in any case, I tried to pause the video. I don't know if I did that or not, but this is hugely, hugely important to really understand what's going on, you know, and that there is someone over your shoulder not wanting you to participate in this new financial system, right? It's so important to understand and realize who the real enemy is. So Meta Lawman says this: it's not just the SEC. The Federal Reserve leads the Operation Choke Point crackdown on crypto. The Federal Reserve. Custodia Bank, which is not federal and don't have any reserves, by the way. It's a group of, you know, Federal Reserve is owned by a group of the top 8-10 banks. Custodia Bank has sued the Fed because it failed to approve Custodia's application for a Fed master account. A Fed master account is essentially a bank account for banks, allowing banks to use the Fed system for check clearing, wire transfers, and ACH payments. Federal law requires the Fed to grant a master account to any federal or state chartered depository institution. Federal law. Custodia is a Wyoming chartered depository institution. You understand what's going on? It usually takes 5 to 7 business days for the Fed to approve a master account. Custodia waited with no response from the Fed to its master account application for 20 months, nearly 2 years. So Custodia was left with no option but to sue the Fed. The Fed then denied Custodia's application for a master account 8 months after the lawsuit. So that would be a total of 28 months for a response. 28 months, 2 years, 4 months. In parentheses, he says, yes, this does sound exactly like how the SEC treated Coinbase petition for rulemaking. Custodia has turned up some fascinating details in the discovery it has conducted against the Kansas City Fed and the main Fed in DC. A tangled web indeed. In connection with Custodia's application for a master account, the Kansas City Fed conducted a comprehensive examination of Custodia and submitted this report of findings to the main Fed in DC. What happened with that report tells you all you need to know about how our government is treating crypto. Like, we got XRP validators, and we got content creators, person out people. We got XRP validators. It's about as negative about technology that has ever been, and completely forgetting the true enemy of it all. Let me read that again. What happened with that report tells you all you need to know about how our government is treating crypto capital. After a comprehensive investigation, the Kansas City Fed's report concluded that Custodia's capital was adequate, quote unquote. Without any additional investigation, the Fed in DC changed the report to say there was a lack of robust capital requirement framework at Custodia. The Fed did that. And somewhere along the lines, we got to ask ourselves, why is this particular government, our government, doing everything they possibly can to end this new financial asset class? Like, you have to think about it, and then think about, how do you feel about the current financial system and your place in it? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel as though they are working for you and want you to win? So, like, instead of talking about cancel culture and the Twitter police, why not cover the madness that's going on with our government? Go over that instead of whining about cancel culture. Another paragraph, it says, risk management. The Kansas City Fed concluded that Custodia had strong, quote unquote, risk management practices. That's unquote, quote unquote, strong risk management practices. The Fed in DC changed the report to say there were significant risk management gaps. Do you understand what's going on? And they feel as though, the Fed feels as though they can just do it. Liquidity is the next subject. The Kansas City Fed concluded that liquidity risk was relatively low at Custodia. This makes sense because, unlike banks that use a fractional reserve business model to lend out deposits, Custodia uses a fully reserved model, meaning it retains liquid reserves covering over 100% of the deposits to take it deposit it takes in, notwithstanding its hyper-conservative liquidity model. The Fed in DC changed their report to say that there were insufficient liquidity risk management processes at Custodia. I'm not going to go through all of this, but you get the point. It is obvious, says Lawman, from the documents uncovered in discovery, that the process was rigged because the Fed objected to Custodia's plan to provide banking and digital asset services to individuals and businesses involved in crypto. To their credit, the Blockchain Association and the Attorney General of Wyoming filed amicus briefs in support of Custodia's recent motion for summary judgment. Fighting the Fed is the quintessential David versus Goliath battle. Fortunately, Caitlin Long, the CEO of Custodia, is a fighter. But Caitlin is not just fighting for Custodia. She is fighting for all of crypto and the principle of financial freedom. It's so massively important to get this. And I hope those who whine about cancel culture will cover this. And, complain about the Twitter police will cover this because this is significant. And this is massively important to understand where the real enemy is. This is why we say old money doesn't want you to win. We made a decision to leave their liquidity pool and enter into this new up-and-coming financial asset class, financial system called the digital asset space. And old money, does not like it. You got to get that. Understand where the real enemy is. Once you understand that, you can begin the fight to win. All right, guys, this wraps up your XRP Ripple Daily News in around 0 to 10 minutes. I hope that it has been of value to you. If it has, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you've been hanging out watching the Crypto Seas and you've enjoyed those hangouts, please consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to ring that notification bell, baby, so that you know whenever we go live or whenever we upload a video. I'm going to end this one like I do all my videos and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. But that's okay, though, because you and I, we're already winning. And I would ask you to consider this. Perhaps ponder the idea or notion of living your life permissionless. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya. Bye.